Hello, welcome to Ric Rambles On, episode number 8. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about a character called Steve Canyon. This is a comic strip that came out in 1947 to, I believe, 1981 by Milton Caniff. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. And this is, the book that, one of the many books that reprinted the Steve Canyon. Uh, I have myself up to like 1954 thereabouts in books. Each one of these is a year. This is 1947. I do have before that. I was getting the Steve Canyon magazine. There we go. I have the first like 10 issues or so, and a few extras after that. And one of my prized possessions is this right here. This is USO on the cover. And what's really good about it, somebody had cut out all this, the Steve Canyon strips. I, I don't know what year, but it's got a good storyline. And whoever did that really took a lot of effort. And right now, you would say spend a lot of money getting these original strips. These are ones cut from the newspapers. Now, I was introduced to Steve Canyon in the either very late 1960s or early 70s through the Sunday Comics from Springfield, Missouri, when I lived in a little small town called Preston. And I didn't know anything about the dailies. All I knew was about the Sunday papers and the Sunday comics, which I would religiously read every single Sunday. At one time, I had a huge stack of the Sunday comics. Unfortunately, that was removed, you know. But I won't go into that. But I have been a huge fan of Steve Canyon and later on Terry and the Pirates, who came out before Steve Canyon. Another one of my favorites, I don't have it here. It's over in my storage I call the book cave, which is a storage shed, a climate controlled storage, which has all my books and stuff. And it's a hardback story of Steve Canyon, and I have another one of Terry the Pirates. And some, later episode, I'll go and show those books. And I have been a huge Steve Canyon fan for years. And about, at least 10 years ago, I found this USO book full of the comic strips, and I started finding all the other, this other magazine here, Steve Canyon issues, Kitchen Sink, and I started picking them all as many as I could up at the time, and I had a pretty good run, and then Checker, the one who posted, the one that has the first Steve Canyon, which I posted up just a few seconds, about a couple minutes. This Steve Canyon here is from Checker. They did a really high quality book, reprinting the Steve Canyon series for each year. Now I'm going to show you the quality. I mean, the cover is nice, gorgeous looking, front and back, slick cover, great quality here. Strips are nice and new, but the only problem is, if you look, they go right into the right inside. It makes it a bit difficult to read, and plus the print is extra small. these are even smaller than the original stuff, the older. Let me show you. You can compare. It's about half the size of those strips, and I mean, I love them. I wish I would not finish up getting the rest of these Steve Canyon myself, just because. And then the kitchen sink ones. I still have several to complete that, but unfortunately, they stopped. I think around 1954, and Steve Canyon went through 1981, and it stopped in the kitchen sink before I got, before I actually started it myself. So, the Steve Canyon I knew is a lot different from the Steve Canyon I've been reading in the comic strips. So, got a neighbor walking by here and a dog barking. She has to let me know that there's a neighbor walking by. But I said I love the comic strips. I know that they reprinted it up, probably up to the complete. Checker did, and they have the bigger, thicker hardback of them, which I just seen advertised. I've not, owned one myself. I have the Terry the Pirate's first book, reprints several, stories. But you know, if anybody happens to have some extra copies that they wouldn't mind letting go of, and would like this, I would love to get a hold of them. Just contact me. I'm rambling on for sure right now, but it is to me, Steve. The Steve Canyon, strips are one of the best action adventure strips that they had back when the comic strips or the Sunday, funny, Sunday strips, the Sunday daily, the dailies were quality. Unfortunately, now, I mean, the humor, they have all right now is if you see any, I have not seen a Sunday page in a few years, but unfortunately, there's no action or adventure ones. Uh, I've picked up reprints or some people they put together their own uh, Sunday, comics. You know, DC did a one that that they did, which was a weekly. I only picked up number one, and still haven't read it, but it's something I enjoy. Now I picked up several different other issues over the years that that was the Sunday or the day you put dailies or some black and whites mostly, and then to like a Sunday comics size page magazine paper that folded in half and all that. But Steve Canyon, I mean, it was Milton Caniff's really his first real story where he had control over everything I've read, and he did one of the excellent job. I love the artwork, the storylines, the character, and I'm only read the first year, 1947. I'm slowly reading my way through it all, as many as I can, and then later, I'll grab my hardback and read that one. And I know there's also TV series and several comic books. Neither one I've actually seen or owned myself, but this is one. I mean, I really, if you haven't figured out by now, enjoy Steve Canyon. It's one that you could wish you could be in there. It's really ties into my love of the old radio show, the old pulps. This is comic strips at its best. Yeah, unfortunately, it lasted for less than 40 years, but it got some characters in there that you'll never forget. Uh, just let me kind of show you a few of the first year of the covers. Here is the cover of number one of Kitchen Sink. Then we have cover of number two and number three. And I'm trying to see if Horizons Unlimited was the name of the group that Steve Canyon belonged to. And I would love to see a story, maybe a Steve Canyon like, story with the Horizons Unlimited and used as a background. I don't know what I'm thinking, but it's if you haven't guessed by now, it's Steve Canyon is one of my favorites of all the old comic strips. Uh, yes, I'm a huge superhero fan. Yes, I love the old Archie stuff, but I love you know I liked him as a kid, but over the years I grew to love the adventure strips. With a non-costume hero and characters back then I did not care for. Now I do, but like I said, I've always been a Steve Canyon fan and always will. And someday I hope to finish reading every single one of them and kind of go from there. Hopefully, I might pick up some. I'll pick the comics and the shows and everything. But if you have something that's similar to that, Steve Canyon, or I have a handful of the Terrier Pirates, something in that vein that most people don't know about or haven't really heard or whatever. And kind of was, have it displayed here, you know, even though I don't do the greatest in the world, but at least I'm showing my interest in it. This, this is what I like. This is one of the few, it's one of the many things that I'm a huge fan of. And the old comic strip from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And after that, they kind of, it just depends on who's doing it at the time and going from there. Now, just a side note for anybody who been, wondering, yes, I am a huge Dick Tracy fan. I just don't have any of the books of them yet, but someday I hope to. But uh, right now, I'm talking about the Steve Canyon, and it's one of those that's harder for me to find. If you have anything that is Steve Canyon related or whatever, and want to share it with me, let me know. At my email is rick.croxton@gmail.com. That's RIC period CROXTON at gmail.com. And if you want to donate any money to help with the show for me to buy things, coming up is a small convention that's right here in Conway that I'll be going to in a few weeks. Just and hopefully I won't. Unfortunately, I won't be able to spend much. I don't have anything really to spend, but If you happen to be there, it's going to be Comics Conway, and it's over here in Conway, Arkansas, November the I think it's around the 12th, if I remember right. It's that weekend. It's going to be that Friday at the library, then Saturday and Sunday at the convention center. And I will be there on Saturday, just to make sure, because that's about all I can last anymore. And I hope to see you there, and we can talk more about the comic strips, and maybe I won't be so rambling looking, sounding. And like I said, I just want to thank everybody for their help and their well wishes and everything. Especially since, after my cataract surgery on my left eye, uh, on November the 3rd, I will be getting my right eye done. And that would be like the day after this show comes up. And if you notice, I'm a little clean shaven. When I had the book cave and everything, I had the full beard. Then when I started here on the show, Ric Rambles On, I had the mustache. Now I'm clean shaven. It just, you know, it's easier for that sleep mask. Uh, and plus, I get tired of having to trim it every 10 seconds. But I've rambled on enough, and I want to thank you for putting up with the show. And I hope to hear from you. Please email me if you just happen to have some comments or whatever, or have something that you say that you want to share with me. At my email, rick.croxton@gmail.com. Thank you for sticking with me, and I'll be rambling on. Bye for now.